RVing in Mexico gets a bad rap. We're not necessarily against it, but we definitely have 5 reasons why you should avoid it. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. I'm Kyle. This is Drivin and Vibin, and we're talking about RVing in Mexico today. There are some wonderfully safe ways to go RVing in Mexico, but there are some reasons to avoid it. It's not for everybody. It may be for you, and that's perfectly cool because thousands of RVers travel to Mexico every year and they do it safely. But today we're talking about 5 reasons why you may want to avoid it. Let's get into it. Reason number 1 is safety. It's the most common reason that we hear why people don't RV in Mexico. Now, some of that is blown out of proportion, but you should definitely take extra precaution in safety if you're traveling to Mexico. Trip planning is essential, especially if the language barrier is challenging for you. Carrying large amounts of money or valuable equipment may draw unwanted attention your way, and border towns, even though they're closer to the USA, sometimes have a higher crime rate, so it doesn't mean staying closer to the border will keep you safer. Overall, if you're unfamiliar with the language, culture, road system, you'll be a more vulnerable target, and that's just the way it is. The best way to combat the safety issue, in my opinion, is by traveling with a caravan group. There are lots of caravan groups that travel together in Mexico. The Escapers is one of them. We've had so many friends do it with pleasure and safety and joy, and they even have a police escort all the way through Mexico. So there are ways to do it and guarantee your safety, but you know what? It is a reason to avoid it if that intimidates you. The number 2 reason is the Mexico vehicle insurance that you'll need to get. This isn't a big deal, but it is more hoops to jump through. And these Mexican RV insurance policies are only available through Mexican companies. Now, your US insurance company may be able to point you in the right direction, but they can't necessarily provide it for you through insurance coverage in the USA. So there are lots of asterisks to Mexican car insurance or RV insurance. Make sure you read all the dotted lines. Make sure you go through a reputable company. Hopefully your insurance company can guide you in that direction, but it's one more reason why it just might be too much of a headache and you might want to avoid RVing in Mexico. The number 3 reason is that roads can get sketchy. I'm talking about the quality of the roads we travel on. So in the US, the interstate system, even though we can all complain about it at times, it has regular maintenance. People are constantly repairing large damages. Now, this isn't always the case if you're traveling through Mexico, so the roads might not get attention for a long time. You might have larger potholes, larger obstacles to avoid. Again, this is where those caravan groups come in handy because they will take you down the best roads, and that means your RV won't get as much damage, won't get as much rattling and shaking, and you will know that at least the tour guide is familiar with the roads. If you're doing it all yourself, make sure you trip plan and even use Google satellite maps to look at the condition of the roads, because the roadways can go from being in very nice shape to very bad shape pretty quickly. The number 4 reason is that the campgrounds and RV parks aren't going to be up to the same standards as in the USA. This is obvious. I mean, the two cultures are very different. The way we operate, our countries are different. And not saying one is better or worse, but the fact is you're going to have to pivot what your expectations are. So don't make reservations for an RV park or campground in Mexico and expect the exact same thing that you would get here in the States. Quite often, the power is not as consistent at the RV parks. Definitely travel with a surge protector if you're gonna go. Definitely read reviews. There are plenty of reviews that are up to date on all of these campgrounds. That is the best way to verify that a campground is what you're going to be paying for and what you're expecting. And the number 5 reason is simply the headaches of the extra documents you're going to need. Definitely the passport you'll need, but then also the added Mexico RV or car insurance. Have that documentation, pet documentation. You're going to want, obviously your vehicle registration, a credit card in the name of the driver of the vehicle, any other medical records that are important to travel with. Now, if you're a full-time RVer, sure, you're probably already traveling with all this information. But if you're a weekender or just a snowbird, you're going to want to make sure you have every single document that you're going to need in the RV, and specifically in a safe place in the RV. I would say a fireproof safe, so those things are extra protected. But this is just one more thing you're gonna have to do before traveling to Mexico. None of the 5 reasons we talked about today are reason enough not to go. But if you don't like extra headache, if you're already intimidated by it, you might want to consider these reasons why a Mexican RV vacation won't be the best for you. Do your proper research, manage your comfort level, figure out what you're comfortable with, and then either go to Mexico and have a blast or stay in the States and have a blast. Doesn't matter either way, as long as you have a good RV vacation. That's what we want for you. So thank you for watching the video today. We'll see you next time.